Hi, Dr. Kate here. We're going to talk a little bit about what happens when our businesses are running us instead of us running our business. And I thought I'd share a little bit about my experience with that. I started my first business about 23 years ago, and it was right after my son was born, and a contract job I had just sort of disappeared, and I thought, this is it. This is the time. I need to start my private practice. I got to dig in and make it happen. Right before, I knew that was coming, and then my son was born. And it was terrifying, right? And then I ended up having another child just another couple months later, I got pregnant. And so then I had two children coming, and my marriage was not doing well. And I thought, oh my God, I have to figure out how to really get my business going so that I can survive and take care of my two kids. And so I, in my anxiousness, because I had already had a lot of anxiety in my life, but this just propelled it, right? Where you're like, oh my God, I need to really get my business going, and I need to really take charge and make things work so I can take care of my family. And my anxiety just became unmanageable because really my business was then running me, and I was working insane hours so that I felt some level of security, and I was stressing and worrying and trying to manage all the aspects of the business while being a single mom of two small children. And it was so crazy, so crazy. And I thought, this is it. I'm handling it. Look how good I'm doing. When really I was being like a crazy supermom who was trying to make my business be what I thought it needed to be, but really my business was running me, and I was barely living life, right? I was just getting things done. I was doing great work with my clients, but by the time I got home with my kids, I was exhausted. And I wasn't the mom that I wanted to be, but I knew I was being the good breadwinner. And so it was very conflicting. It was very conflicting and very scary to feel like I needed to figure out how to make my business successful. But I also felt like the only way to do that was to work myself crazy and make enough money. And so I had to really eventually pull back from that and start to figure out how I was going to live a life that wasn't out of that fear of not having enough money. And it was really hard, you guys. It was really hard because I was a single mom of two kids. And so I was compelled to be successful, and that meant have enough money. And it had me by the neck, that fear had me by the neck. And then my business kind of was just so wonderful on one hand and so out of control, like a monster, you're just like, oh my God, everything's about the business. And I had to figure out how to have more trust that we would be okay without me being a crazy woman, right? Hi, Kayla. Thanks for sharing that. I don't have my glasses on, so I can see it a little bit. That was you over the winter, right? We can all relate to this, I'm sure, on some level, even if you weren't a single parent. So I had to start trusting and saying, if I don't stop seeing so many people and working myself to death, I'm going to get sick, right? And so I had to figure out how I was going to let go of that sense of control, right? Because that's what it is. It's that fear and that sense of control, I'll make it work. And then we're just hanging on with our fingernails on the edge of the world, right? And we're just, everything's about being that successful person that's going to have the money. And I knew I had to stop. I knew it was going to catch up with me. So I was working in therapy a lot at that point. And she was like, Kate, stop. You've got to let it go and know that your guys are going to be okay. And I had to work with my really scared little parts of me that were really from a place of uncertainty and fear, that hadn't really known how to face those uncertainties without wanting to take charge. And it was a lot of work. I'm not going to kid you. It was a lot of work for me. And I managed to continue to create things that were kind of very uncertain in my life, to continue working on that. But I'm going to say that it can still show up, and how we work with our fears and how we work with that uncertainty without wanting to take charge and just feel like we have to control everything or we have to rule it in some certain way is just an important part of our personal development as a business owner. I think it's imperative, because otherwise we create a business monster that runs us to the ground, and the things we love and care about, our family, our kids, our life, enjoyment, they're gonna take the hit. There's just no way around it. And it took me a long time to figure out how to do that in a way that I could let go and I could trust and I could have a different relationship with my business and my quality of life. And so, I just felt like sharing that today because I feel like when I meet people, and I'm in this position of, launching this, really getting this new business going, I can feel that history coming up where, I can pick that right back up and I can start thinking, oh yeah, let's create that old model of success that runs you, right? Where you create a business that's running you to the ground. And it's not any fun. And I really don't want to do that. And I really want to support all of us to figure out how to create powerful, successful, loving lives that aren't running us to the ground and that allow us to have a quality of life, that allow us to enjoy why we're doing what we love in the first place, right? And we don't have a lot of models out there. So we're really all on our own to figure that out. And I'm really about supporting people to do that right now, because I just know I don't ever want to go back to how I was doing it. I know it doesn't help. Hey, thank you. Yes. And so how do we do that? And for me, we all have our own personal values. It's how we learn to connect into those values and in our bodies and know what is the way that I need to do it for me. And that's why I'm coaching entrepreneurial women right now, because I'm really inviting them to step back and ask themselves those questions. What is it that really is going to fulfill you? And what is your idea of success that isn't about creating a monster of a business that's going to just eat you, chew you up and spit you out, right? Like, really just be curious. What does that look like? So that's what I'm interested in. And if you are struggling with finding your business kind of eating you up and spitting you out, I am offering a couple calls that I call business life balance energy assessments, very long name, to kind of step back and look at how you're living your life. And that's a free consultation I'm offering. So if you're interested, please put yes, or find my website that's listed and go through that and contact me, because I'm really, really wanting to help people notice this. Whether you choose to continue working with me or not, I want people to step back and notice what's going on, because it's only when we notice it that we have some choice. All right. So please think about it. And if you know somebody that's kind of getting totally taken down by their business, or, they're just being a business owner of some kind, please let them know. I'm happy to do these free business life balance energy assessments. Okay. Meanwhile, take care, love yourself, show up, take care of you. All right. See you later.